Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, your host for this episode. Let's understand evil and darkness, shall we? Why would we bother talking about evil and darkness? Because if you're ignorant and you're clueless, you are easily brainwashed. Because if you're ignorant and you're clueless and you don't understand how evil works, you don't understand the darkness on this planet, then you're a slave to it. And I hate to put it this way, don't want to create separation, but I'm going to say it this way because you'll understand it. Know your enemy. You can't be blindsided by your enemy if you know your enemy. Okay? So we are in a spiritual war. This is spiritual warfare. And whether you have fully awakened enough or not to understand and comprehend the reason why you incarnated on this planet was to become the warrior that we need to completely destroy, alchemize, dissolve the evil that reigns on this planet and has for centuries. You came here to engage in spiritual warfare, in a spiritual war. That is why you incarnated. So while the brainwashing and all the little, what is your purpose and what did you come here to do? And find your purpose and your mission. There's some degree of truth in that, but this right here is your purpose and your mission. Now, what that specifically looks like to you is going to be different for every person, of course. The more you understand evil, the more powerful you are to defeat it. And that is why you came to this planet. Period. End in this incarnation. Period. End. You didn't come here to make a shit ton of money and travel and go on vacation 50% of the year. That isn't why you're fucking here. And it doesn't mean that if you make a ton of money and you travel a lot, I mean, on one hand, if you are the spiritual warrior and you become the spiritual warrior that you came here to become in human form, then by all means, travel everywhere because you will be spreading your light. Don't ever misunderstand my teachings because of lower levels of consciousness. I am here to bring you up, to raise you up higher and higher and higher. If you misunderstand the teaching and you project, that's your fault. I can't force you to understand what I am actually offering to you. I can only offer it. For those who have the ability to hear truth will hear my voice. And for those that hear my voice, you will be changed. And for those that are then changed will help to change this world. You came here to change this world. You cannot do that if you don't change yourself and elevate to a level of divine power that's high enough to change this world. And you can't do that if you can't even hear truth when it is spoken. There is a global cult that runs this world, and they are dispersed in many groups and many forms. The Vatican is like the biggest one. That's the fucking portal for all evil and Satan and all the terrible things that you watch in movies that they put right in front of your eyes that they do. The Illuminati, the Freemasons, on and on and on and on. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of sects that have been alive and well for centuries. You need to understand something. They are not elevated. They don't have souls anymore. They have disconnected from divinity. We are slaves. We are vessels where they steal our life force energy. And they steal our life force energy because they can't connect to it themselves. They've disconnected from it. They've extinguished that connection. Okay. So they have their, tentacles in everything, every government, every leader of the entire world, not specifically every single leader. There may be some leaders out there that are not affected by this. But what I'm saying is any leader, they are a part of some sort of group, organization, government, office, wherever in the world, right? And the global cult, in whatever sectors they have their tentacles everywhere in every form of government, leadership all over the world. They literally run and control things globally. And they put out propaganda, they create wars. This is what patriarchy is. It's a system of domination, of inequality, of conquering, of violence, of war in order to enslave humanity and to trick some members of humanity into thinking that they're superior and they're powerful, but, false sense of power, in order to help dominate and keep control over the rest of humanity. And they also create a system of enslavement where you work yourself to death. You are in survival mode all the time, stress, fight, flight, or freeze all the time. You are in struggling financially all the time, except for the ones that are a part of this elite system. Obviously, we are paying them and fueling them with our money, our hard work, our hard earned dollars. We work for their corporations. We are the slaves that make them more money. We're exhausted. They trick people and trap people into thinking, especially for women, that you're just baby makers and that's all you're here to do, to produce more workers so they can make more money, so their corporations can be run on your hard work and labor and slave work. They create hate, separation, fighting. All of this is orchestrated. Have you woken up yet? Have you woken up yet? The other thing is, for the people that have been waking up and putting out on, content, social media all over the world, that this stuff has been going on, because we're so brainwashed and dumbed down, those people are conspiracy theorists, they're woo-woo, they're crazy, they're whatever. And it's hard to allow your brain to comprehend what is really going on in positions of power and leadership in these massive corporations, that it is all orchestrated and creating the level of suffering, the inflation, the homelessness crisis, the housing crisis in the United States alone. And it is in so many places all over the world, levels of poverty. There's financial crises, almost everywhere. And again, it keeps you in fear. It keeps you in slave labor. It keeps you in stress. It keeps you functioning where cortisol is released all the time. The way that the food is poisoned and the water is poisoned, it keeps you sick. So then you're in the sick system. All of it is orchestrated. And for those of you who start to awaken for real and you start to realize all of these things, if you are not 100%, your number one priority is not raising your level of consciousness, elevating and becoming an enlightened being, a divinely powerful being that can transcend everything, that can literally create a completely abundant, harmonious life for yourself and, in effect, because this is oneness, for the whole world. Do you understand that whatever you do for yourself there's a ripple effect, a butterfly effect that is then energetically put out to the world. So the more you focus on healing yourself, your life, connecting to your power, healing your trauma, you are helping to heal and elevate the world, because we are one. Okay. That is why at mastersofselfuniversity.com, go to our website, go to my organization. This is why my organization exists. Because when you heal yourself and you learn these higher, more elevated spiritual teachings, when you learn how to energetically heal your traumas, your programs, everything that contributes to a society that you've been brainwashed and tricked into contributing to, and you break free from that system and you learn how to connect to your power that cannot be controlled, manipulated, used, or abused by evil and darkness, when you learn how to do that, you've become the warrior that this world needs you to become in order to transform what this planet is. This planet, you have been birthed into a slave system of hell on earth. Don't you dare let your programs of victimhood and victim consciousness get activated. See it if you feel it inside of you. If you don't know how to heal that, go to masterselfuniversity.com. Get a free consultation. This is what we do. Don't you dare go into victimhood and hopelessness. That's what they want. That's what they've brainwashed you to be, powerless. When you hear that, I want you to feel the spiritual warrior, the mystical warrior inside of you that knew you were so powerful, so divine, so resilient that you could wake up and help transform this planet to heaven on earth. We have the power to do that. You need to understand that all of these sectors, all of these groups, they have been around for centuries, which means they have passed down the wisdom and the knowledge of the universe, the laws of the universe. They just use them for evil versus us knowing how to receive that sacred wisdom, use that sacred wisdom to create light, divinity, abundance, oneness, the 20 universal ways of oneness, those energetic frequencies to flood this planet and have enlightened societies all over the world. And that is how we can live as heaven on earth. You can't live as heaven on earth if you yourself haven't become heaven inside of yourself. Do you understand? You have to do it for yourself first, or it doesn't matter what you try to do. It is never about just changing a bunch of policies in our government. That is never going to work and heal this planet. It isn't good enough. It is you spending the time investing in yourself to completely transform yourself and your life, your energetic frequencies, to function and emanate as the ways of oneness, enlightenment, as a being who has become. You've moved through the process of becoming an enlightened being. And when you can achieve that and you can get there and you can get out of your batshit crazy mind and your mental programs that do nothing but sabotage yourself and sabotage everybody else and create nothing but separation because you're attacking, you're defensive, you're hating, you promote inequality even when you don't think you do, when you actually spew the kind of absolute fucking bullshit, like women are supposed to be subservient to men and all that crap. Do you understand how evil works? That's all brainwashing. The biggest cult, global cult, is a religious cult. That's what religions are. You go to church, you drink the blood of Christ, you eat the body of Christ. You are participating in a satanic ritual that is glorifying the torture and murder of Jesus. And you don't even know you're doing it. That's how brainwashed, that's how orchestrated these things are. You're so brainwashed. If I were to describe to you that a ritual, a demonic, satanic, evil ritual that included torturing somebody, murdering, slowly torturing, murdering that person, drinking the blood of that person, eating the flesh of that person, and then having a statue of the satanic ritual itself, of the torture and murder, to make a statue of the murder and torture of this person nailed to a cross with a bloody thorns all over his head, a thorn crown. That level of torture, I'm now going to take that and I'm going to energetically symbolize it and remember it forever and put it in front of everybody and tell everybody, now drink the blood of this tortured man, eat the flesh of this tortured man. What would that sound like to you? Would it sound like the Satanism that it actually is? Because that's what it is. Instead of this person, and this is only one example because I don't care where you come from, who you are, how religious you are or not, whether you are Christian, Catholic or not, it doesn't matter. Everybody knows who this person is. Everybody knows who Jesus is. That's why I use this as an example. You're showing up in a church that you're supposed to worship and promote holiness Have you woken up for real yet? How dare you promote energetically and worship the torture and murder of a man who was a mystic, who was a revolutionary, who was a prophet, who came here to help humanity? Don't forget something. He was called a false prophet. He was called blasphemous. He was called somebody who worshiped Satan and the devil and was trying to spew, devil worship all over. Do you remember that that's how he was treated? And that's how many thought of him. Did you forget that? Isn't that convenient that we don't think about that and that we're too dumb? He came here to teach against religion because of what religion actually was. He didn't form a religion. He was teaching people to wake up to what religion actually is. That there is a lot of evil in it. And it's time to wake up to the true divine power and godlike creator source energy that you come from, which is the light itself. And to connect to that and expand that inside of you and become that level of consciousness that is nothing but pure divinity. All of the sectors and the factions that exist on this planet, that is the global part of the global cult, they have not lost universal wisdom. They keep it alive in their groups and they pass it down and pass it down and pass it down. That's why they're all secret societies. Hello. And then what they've done, they've disbanded on so many levels. Number one, cultures that used to know all of this wisdom and they would pass it down either in their culture or their families. Women are the ones that passed all of this down. Why do you think they had to enslave and rape and brutally torture women? And they rape little girls and get them pregnant and they're their slaves and they call them wives, all this crazy shit. They do this so that you can never, the younger they go to children, they can never, you don't have a chance to wake up and remember and reclaim your divinity in order to do what you're here to do. That's why part of this global cult is so immersed in pedophilia and trafficking and all the scary things that you want to bury your head in the sand and pretend like it doesn't exist because I can't handle it. It's too gross. It's too evil. Exactly. It is, which is why you need to wake the hell up, connect to your power so that we can absolve all of this on this planet. It shouldn't exist here. It shouldn't exist here. And the only reason why it exists is because, the one thing that they have that is absolutely in their favor, the evil powers that be, the elites, what they do have in their favor, if they pass all this down generation to generation, they haven't lost the wisdom, universal laws, the wisdom of energy, all the rituals that they do. They use it for evil and darkness. They use it for, demonic purposes. They use it for the darkness. It doesn't mean that universal energy and all the laws of the universe don't exist for all of us. They just use it for darkness. Those same universal laws exist for us to learn and remember and come back to so that we can use it for the light, which is why they disbanded and separated everybody against each other. So they had to separate all the groups of people who passed all the wisdom down. So they had to separate. So lots of mass murder, the witch trials, like you name it in our history. They had to make sure they separated people, and they always create inequality and always create some sort of slave. Okay. So you're stuck in suffering. You're stuck in survival mode. You're stuck in some sort of system of enslavement. And if you're dominating and conquering, you're obviously not an enlightened being who's going to help. You're helping evil. You're not going to help the light come back to the planet. You're not going to help heal the planet, right? So they've done that on every level. And then they go to make sure that they disband even and they destroy the family system, family units. They have to make sure that they destroy it on all levels. So this is the brainwashing of a patriarchal society where they teach men to go dominate everything, to objectify women, to fuck as many women as they possibly can. It doesn't matter that you have 7 fucking women pregnant. You're just fucking spreading your goddamn semen around everywhere, getting everybody pregnant. Doesn't matter that you treat women like trash. The more you do that, the more unconscious you are, the more brutal you are in the way that you treat sacred feminine. You're destroying the family unit. You're not functioning in oneness. You're functioning in domination. You're functioning in darkness and evil, whether you realize it or not. You're just a brainwashed puppet. And that is all done by design. So women who choose, keyword, choose, it's a woman's choice to get pregnant, have a fucking baby. It's her choice. Women who choose to create life inside of her as an extension of her in oneness, her body, it's an extension of her body. This is oneness. Whatever's growing inside of my body as a woman, that's my body. And it is my body until I birth you and grant you the access to live your own life separate from me. That's what birthing is. It's a holy process that isn't understood and isn't recognized. You know why? Of course. Hello, brainwashing. None of the wisdom exists. It's all been destroyed. Even the way with which women give birth, patriarchy came along and fucking destroyed that. They changed that in the medical field for a reason. It was on purpose. It's done by design. You don't lay on your back to freaking give birth. That isn't a natural birthing process position for a woman at all. They take everything that nature has innately put inside of us and they try to flip it upside down, make everything work backwards. They destroy in every way that we are divinely the level of sacred wisdom, every way that we are holy. And that is not a goddamn religious definition. Religions are cults. Those are your cults of the world. All of this done by design. If they destroy the family unit and they groom you younger and younger and younger, they normalize pedophilia. They normalize the brutality of women using them however they want to, controlling their bodies, forcing them, raping them, forcing them to then give birth to rape babies. I mean, it's psychotic. This is the level of evil that has infiltrated. If you aren't willing to heal yourself and elevate to a level of power that can hear this, and instead of getting sick from it, it lights a fire under you. Like, yep, I'm a warrior. This is what I came here to eradicate. Let's fucking go. If you're not there yet, that's okay. You are never getting judgment from me. I am never judging. And if you're judging, you're projecting your own goddamn judgment. Let's grow up and raise our level of consciousness and stop projecting onto people, because that's part of the problem. The reason why the sacred wisdom and learning how to work with energy and sacred rituals have been lost and gone, and instead they're brainwashed, you're manipulated into performing satanic, evil, dark rituals that you think in church it's a holy thing. Oh, for the love of fucking Christ. Guys, got to wake up for real. We're running out of time. You have to wake up for real, because the laws of the universe and that sacred wisdom is being used for evil. It has been forever. Meanwhile, we're running around hating each other, talking about skin color. Jesus, really? Fighting over hair texture and how people can and cannot wear their hair depending on the color of their skin. You cannot be this stupid. I mean, you're a brainwashed puppet. Is there any hope for you? Yeah, I'm smacking you in the face right now for a reason. We're running out of time to wake up for real. The darkness is becoming more acute because they know that more people are waking up. But listen to me very carefully. This is a key that I'm going to offer to you. It isn't good enough to simply wake up to realizing the realizations of what this world actually is and how it's run. It isn't good enough to just know that. You have to connect to your divine power and elevate your vibrational frequencies the way that you exist on this planet. And you have to unite together with other people that are doing that as well. Because that's how we have the power to transform all of it. Do you understand that if enough of us functioned at the vibrational frequencies as the ways of oneness for real, we become those vibrational frequencies in every aspect of our lives? We become that level of abundance in every aspect of what that word means on an enlightened level. That level of darkness literally will cease to exist. It cannot live and continue energetically when enough of us are so powerful that all of those negative vibrational frequencies, they have to crumble. They have to be dismantled. Energetically, they dissolve. They're literally actually in training and becoming those of the light, the frequencies of the light. This is how energetics works. And you learn this step by step in your everyday life through our coaching programs that we do at Masters of Self University. This isn't a process where you're going to learn it in a goddamn week and then look at me, I'm a spiritual warrior and I'm going to heal the planet. Isn't good enough, guys. You have to grow up. You have to be willing to grow up and realize how big your mission actually is, because it is big. It's massive. It's way bigger than you have realized up until this point for many of you. For some of you, you never realized how big your mission actually was. And for those of you who started to realize, oh, I think I have a bigger mission than I originally thought, waking up and connecting powerfully to what you're here to do energetically, you have to raise the frequency of yourself in every aspect of your life, because that is the only way to win this spiritual war. You cannot do it alone. The evil and darkness on this planet is massive. It's too big. It's too expansive. It is easy to alchemize the darkness on this planet when you raise your level of light and you unite together in oneness. And I mean, it's easy. They want you living in fear and powerlessness, fear, self-sabotage, hate, defensiveness, attacking, judging everybody. You're a puppet when that's how you show up in your everyday life and online and in social media and in your relationships. You show up like that, you're the brainwashed puppet that I'm talking about. That is the way of truth. It's never a judgment. It is the way of truth. To no longer be that means you're willing to awaken, connect to your divine power to heal everything in your life, in your own individual personal life. To learn energetics to that degree, what you're programming, to be able to read energies and all the different frequencies that are constantly being thrown at you, bombarding your energetic system, bombarding your mind, your emotions, your emotional state, tricking you into survival mode, fight, flight, or freeze. But I got to do this. I got to pay rent. I don't have money. Exactly. So how do we work on that energetically? You're not going to flip a switch and make your life a miracle. Not how this works. You can learn step by step. Because here's the deal. If you're faced with these horrible things and not having enough money and not, having the relationships that you want, not having the support, not having the connection, whatever your personal scenario might be, if you are in struggle and you are in suffering, you don't fix that by flipping a switch. You have to learn to connect to the power that you are. There is a lost, elevated spiritual education, and that is done by design. I've been saying this over and over in this episode already, that the evil, the darkness, the elites, the powers that be, they haven't lost it. They pass it down in their secret societies. Do you understand? We're the ones that have been disbanded so that we can't pass this down. We are the ones that when we put stuff like this content that I'm putting out right now, it'll be a freaking miracle if it doesn't get removed. If you're listening to this, please share this episode, repost it, share it with as many people as you possibly can. I'm so serious about it, so that it gets out and it gets spread to as many people as humanly possible before they take it down. how to function and work in all of these things. All of these people, and again, take a deep breath and drop in your heart for a moment. This is never a judgment, people. I'm teaching you. Those who have the ability to hear truth will hear my voice. And those who hear my voice will be changed. All of the people trying to figure it out, especially over the last couple of decades, the last 2 decades or so, all of the people trying to do their spiritual things, offering their services, all of the things, there's a million of them out there. Everybody has been doing their best and they want to help humanity. And they want their particular spiritual modality to be, everybody do mine, pay me. Of course that's happening. That's not a bad thing. That's why I'm telling you, there's never a judgment, but it is the way of truth. I am here to speak and offer the truth of everything. The downside to that is people go get some certification or they do a weekend, certification in some sort of energy healing modality, or they study a modality more extensively than that for a period of time. And they think, there you go. That's it. I'm so spiritual and elevated now. No, you're not. And if you knew better and you had the wisdom instead of lived in ignorance, again, never a judgment. All of that's done by design. Because if millions upon millions of people are each doing their own separate thing and everything's disconnected and you only have a little piece of something, one piece of a puzzle, how complete is the puzzle? You have one piece. You're carrying one piece. How complete is the puzzle? And because done by design, this is on purpose. We can't help that this is what was done to us, you guys. But because this was done by design where everybody's scattered, you don't have the sacred wisdom being passed down to large groups of people so that people can evolve in the way, the safe way, and the most elevated way that you're meant to evolve while you're here in a lifetime. Because all of those methods, teachings have been destroyed, hidden, kept from the general public across the world because that's how they keep you all as slaves. Because that's what's been happening. Then you start to awaken, you're on your own little journey, and some people go crazy and they can't handle waking up and seeing the truth because you're not equipped to handle it energetically. And you don't know what it means to be in your divine power. That is an energetic process. It is an energetic process that you evolve into over time. Your physical body doesn't just become enlightened. It's not possible. Literally, it's not possible. So stop saying the day I had my awakening. You didn't just awaken to everything one day. No such thing. Doesn't exist. And don't even bother, because please don't embarrass yourself. I am offering to you elevated teaching so that you understand, so that you can elevate higher and higher and higher. I am not judging you. I'm not putting you down. Jesus, can you not discern the difference between the two? Those who have the ability to hear truth will hear my voice. I am here to help you. I am here to help you rise for real. Because we need you to rise for real. This planet needs you. It needs you to get this. Humanity needs you to get this. All the dogs in the world that are neglected and tortured and dumped need you to get this. The bees to live and allow human life to continue need you to get this. Nature needs you to get this. Wildlife, animals need you to get this. Get out of your programs of defensiveness. Get out of your ignorance, your programs of ignorance. It is time to rise. There is a spiritual war, and you incarnated to fight against evil. to alchemize and transform the evil on this planet. So if you can't even look at the evil within yourself, if you can't look at your shadow self where you're showing up as a shitty person, as unkind, as impatient, as judging, attacking, if you can't stop projecting your own shit onto others on social media, you're the brainwashed puppet. And you are promoting evil. You are giving free passageways and opening the doors to evil to continue to do what they're doing to all the elites, to continue to control and brainwash and enslave everybody. You're helping them. You are either helping them or you are awakening for real, and you are alchemizing and dismantling all of that by waking up for real. They have tricked you to only focus on materialism, to only focus on your own material, physical body, the physicality of you, versus the eternal you that carries the wisdom, that carries the divine energetic power to create heaven on earth for your own life and for everyone else's lives. We are one. So when I create heaven on earth for me, that ripples out to you. What I do for me, I do for you. That is oneness. And when you can begin to elevate to that degree, evil cannot continue to exist and run our governments and control our laws and policies, creating dictatorships, tricking you into thinking that there's equality that exists when it doesn't at all, when tricking you into thinking that other countries function in a certain way, when really the United States functions in a system of nothing but propaganda, brainwashing, tricking you to believe what they put out in the so-called news. And when you can see the split. All you have to do is pay attention to the comments. You can see the split in the level of consciousness in people who are waking up for real, willing to hear the ability to hear truth, and those that hear truth will hear my voice. And those that have no fucking ability to hear truth. So what do? They do what they're brainwashed to do because they're nothing but pathetic puppets of the elites, completely controlled. They attack, they fight, they're violent, they put you down. You can tell the brainwashed puppets of the world because that's how they show up and that's how they behave. You can tell the people that are awakening, and do not misunderstand, true people who are elevated people have no tolerance for that kind of violence. They call it out. You don't passively ignore it. You don't passively ignore and pretend like evil doesn't exist the way in which I've described here. You don't act like that doesn't exist. You see it for what it is, you learn from it, and that lights a fire under you to rise even higher, to join and connect with enlightened communities, or communities that are doing the work to become enlightened so that we can transform this planet. Those are the people you want to connect with, that are supporting each other, that are elevating each other, not ones that are attacking each other. Zero tolerance from that. Zero tolerance for that. Because you are the old world. You are the evil. You are the elites. You might not be the elites, but you are brainwashed and controlled by the elites when you come into a community and you start attacking people in that community. I'll tell you right now, we had somebody come into our community recently, not too long ago, and that's what she started doing, attacking, projecting and attacking. You're done. You're out of this community. Zero fucking tolerance for that. You are the evil and the darkness. You are the old world that people like me have no tolerance for. You were given a chance to heal and elevate and become a divine being. You chose to attack instead. You're gone. You were given a chance. And those are the kind of warriors that we need, building our communities, online communities like the one we have at Master Self University, our Discord channel. Join it if you haven't already. The communities that we're working to be able to physically create, the people all over the world, they're working to physically create communities where they work in unity and they grow their own food, and they're as much off the grid as possible. There are communities forming all over the world that are built on unity, some lower levels of oneness. We're not anywhere near oneness consciousness. Anybody says that, they don't know what it means. Not a judgment. That's the truth. You don't understand this stuff, you can't achieve it. It's why I offer the teachings that I offer. Okay? So you have to be able to learn and understand what the evil actually is on this planet. And it doesn't mean you get lost in it, and it doesn't mean you drown from it, and it doesn't mean you go into darkness yourself. You see it for what it is. You understand it for what it is. When you learn and understand it for what it is and how it functions, you say, "Oh, I was the brainwashed puppet contributing to this whole time. Holy crap, how do I get out of it?" You understand and you learn. You elevate, you heal yourself so that you never repeat what they've taught you how to be in this world: defensive, attacking, separation, inferior, superior, judging other people all the time, comparing yourself to people all the time. You are in suffering and misery when you do that, and you cannot heal when you were in those vibrational frequencies. Can't. That's why they've worked so hard to put you there. So, what are you willing to rise to? How high are you willing to go? You want help? Go to mastersofselfuniversity.com. Get a free consultation, join our programs, join our classes. That's what we're here for. Share this out, like, subscribe, do the things, join our Discord community, and keep listening so that we can elevate ourselves and elevate this planet where evil no longer has to be a part of anything on this planet. It really can be just people of the light, enlightenment, loving, wonderful, supportive, thriving. We can create heaven on earth. We have it. We have it in us. Come learn how. Join Masters of Self University. This is what we teach. It's what I teach. Come learn how, and let's create heaven on earth together. I'll see you in the next episode, everybody.